Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Three very important topics. First, do you remember the NordStream 1, NordStream 2 pipelines? Remember those ones? That was the perfect crime, let's put it this way. We don't know who did it, but we can guess by far who the perpetrator, the suspect is. Well, guess what? New evidence comes to show us the American Secret Service's involvement in the Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2. And I'm going to tell you in a minute. This article comes from Sputnik. That's the first topic. The second topic has to do with Erdogan. Erdogan, the president of Turkey, an opportunistic president caring for himself and for his country, for his nation. That's all you need to know. Each and every president should have his country first. And obviously, as a politician nowadays, you first and then everybody else. So, Mr. Erdogan met Putin and Xi Jinping in Kazakhstan, in Astana, in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. Mr. Erdogan wants to be the mediator, the peace mediator between the Ukrainians and the Russians. And this is the Russians' answer in a minute. And the third article that I have here, the third topic, is an imbecile from Finland, if I remember correctly, claims that China, and that imbecile is in charge of Finland, by the way, China could end the Ukraine war with one call. One call. So can you not accept foreign troops on your territory, Finland? Anyway, so these are the three topics. So let's start with the first one, obviously. Sputnik. Let me put my goggles. And this is from a few days ago, if I remember correctly. This is from the 29th of June, 2024. But it doesn't matter because it's still valid. U.S. Secret Services campaigned against Nord Stream 2 in Germany. Parliamentary inquiry heard. So you have, let's make it like Kamala Harris. That's Ukraine, a small country, and is Russia, a bigger country. Okay, so I'm going to do the same way. This is Russia, big country, and this is Germany, smaller country, and they want to through a pipeline, and then you got another country, United States of America, that says, no, you can't have pinus captivus, you can't have it, we're gonna interfere because we love you, Germany, and we don't want you, Germany, to be blackmailed by Russia. But we want you to be blackmailed by us because we're gonna make you shoot yourself in the foot with the gas and oil, and we're gonna provide you, we're gonna help you. Like, remember that, how do you call it? Jesus Christ. It escapes. Jesus Christ. The Marshall Plan. It's going to be a next Marshall Plan, but this is going to be supercharged. Why? Supercharged because our liquefied natural gas will be sold to you by our companies at 3 to 4 times the price of the Russians. And when we say we don't like what you do, we're going to stop the shipments. Like the Russians, we said they will do, because we have a crystal ball and we know shit. All right, so that's the way it is, my friends. So Secret Service of another country intervened into blocking other two countries' dealings. They like capitalism, we're told. Controlled capitalism. So let's read this article a little bit. The German state parliament of Mecklenburg, Western Pomerania, held a closed session. Why closed? It's embarrassing to say certain things, right? The emperor has no clothes. Of the parliamentary commission investigating the creation of a fund supporting the construction of Nord Stream 2 on Friday. Testimonies from 2 unnamed individuals from local environmental organizations were heard during the session. A German state parliament has reportedly heard testimony of U.S. meddling to prevent the construction of the flagship gas pipeline Nord Stream 2 from Russia in 2021. It was not the Ukrainians, it was not the French, it was not the Brits, it was the Americans who blew Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 pipelines. Those guys on that vessel, the 6 guys and a woman, right? Chairman of the SPD parliamentary group in the state parliament of Mecklenburg-Western Pomerania, Thomas Krüger, claimed that US intelligence agents tried to interfere with the construction of Nord Stream 2 during Donald Trump's presidency by working directly in Germany, citing testimony from unnamed witnesses. Allegations, all right, but it's behind closed doors. And I'm quoting, both witnesses testified today that the representatives of the US Secret Services actively campaigned. What does it mean? Campaign. Blackmail, threats, payouts. With environmental associations in Mecklenburg, Western Pomerania to prevent Nord Stream 2 construction and offered their support. What kind of support? End quote, he said, as quoted on the parliamentary group's website. So the US Secret Services offered their support. You understand? Now, if you say that's fine, then that means the Russians can do the same thing when the United States of America wants to do a business project with a country. Would you be okay with that? And if not, why not? Because you're subjective. That's why. Not just. If you are allowed to do that, then everybody else is allowed to do that. I know that's the way the world works. Actually, don't think that the Russians are just they do the same thing. They're in the same business. I don't know to what extent though. One of the witnesses also indicated that a representative of the intelligence services approached him directly and later met with him on the territory of the federal state, justifying his actions with, and I'm quoting, US interests. And I'm quoting, this makes it clear, I'm quoting, right? During the Trump administration, the US government also used Secret Service means to oppose Nord Stream 2 directly in Mecklenburg, Western Pomerania, in order to enforce its interests, end quote, Krüger asserted. I like the words, asserted, claimed, that's the way it is. It was previously reported that the commission called former German Chancellor Gerhard Schröder and the Prime Minister of the federal state, Manuela Schweizig, as witnesses regarding the creation of the fund supporting the pipeline's construction. In Germany, they are considered former lobbyists for the construction of Nord Stream 2. The exact dates for the hearings are yet to be announced. Got it, my friends? German media claim that this structure was funded by Gazprom and acted as its intermediary in the concluding contracts. The point is this. I think, for me personally, it was 70% before when that happened, but I think it's more than 70% obvious who did that. Do I have the evidence? No, but I'm not an idiot. But anyway, let's move to the next article. Next article comes from, next topic, from Reuters. It's July 3rd. Turkey's Erdogan offers to help end Russia-Ukraine war. Kremlin rules him out as intermediary. So said, fuck you, Erdogan, no more. Remember, with your help, certain thing happens and Putin did not smack you. You're welcome. Turkish President Erdogan told Russia's Vladimir Putin on Wednesday that Ankara could help end the Ukraine-Russia war. But Putin's spokesman said Erdogan could not play the role of an intermediary in a 28-month-old conflict. Erdogan speaking to Putin on the sidelines of the... You know what? You know why these guys don't trust now at all Erdogan? Erdogan was saved, if you remember, at that coup in 2016 by some Russian helpers. But it was the fact that Erdogan released those Azov battalion commanders that were supposed to stay in Turkey. He gave it back to Zelensky. You remember that one? And Russia was like, you too, Brutus? And Brutus says, yeah. Supposedly Brutus was aiming for Caesar's groin. You too, Brutus? Exactly. You too, Erdogan? And Erdogan was like, what do you think? Yeah. Anyway, but Putin's spokesman Dmitry Peskov ruled out any role as a go-between for the Turkish leader. And I'm quoting, no, It's not possible, said Peskov when asked by a Russian television interviewer whether Erdogan could assume such a role according to the Russian TASS news agency. You know how these things will be decided? By the Russians themselves and alone. Everything else will be veneer. Why? That's how a strong country acts. I don't need Turkey to be my intermediary. I'm like a lion. I'm going on the savannah and I grab the gazelle, killed by others or by myself. Usually the lions are just come and get it as he's dead over there. So the same. No, I'm going to ask Turkey to be my intermediary. Back off. Don't need intermediaries. Now, next article. Next article comes from Business Insider, and we have this title: China can end the Ukraine war with a single phone call to Putin, says NATO member. And that is the Finland President Alexander Stubb. Don't you think that Stubb is an imbecile or infantile at best? I think he is. Do you think that's the way it is? Do you guys really think that with NATO at your doorsteps in Ukraine, if China tells Putin, hey Putin, stop, Putin will say, okay. Do you think that's possible? Now remember, that president, I think he was elected in Finland. That tells me what the mass media is doing in Finland to the Finn population. China could end Russia's war in Ukraine if it wanted to, says Finland President Alexander Stubb. Russia is so dependent on China right now. All right, Finland, you made a lot of mistakes. One of them is joining NATO, but I guess you couldn't afford saying no. You couldn't refuse the offer, which it was not an offer, it was an order. You're going to have military bases, NATO, that is United States military bases, on your territory. They will put military installations on your territories, and the Russians will put their targets, nuclear targets, on your country, on your people. Got that? Got it. And you're going to be a vassal state with signature, that is, how do you call it, accredited, original vassal, not by alliance. No, you are in it. You're in it. So this guy is talking. These guys. That's why when I was a kid and I was looking at world leaders and presidents, prime minister, foreign ministers, generals, and so on, I said, oh my God, look at those guys. And then I got older a little bit and I was rubbing shoulders and elbows with people and start getting into life, learning a lot of it, and say, these guys are infantile. Some of them. How do you know that? This kind of statements. I don't need another statement. Or this guy he thinks he's so sneaky that he's going to fool us all. He's going to fool some baboons, but not you and I. The same could the United States of America stop this war. Say, NATO, we're not going to be in Ukraine, Zelensky stop, and that's it. That's even easier. It's even easier. So Finland, please elect your leaders, or at least work into having quality leaders, because a leader represents the people. So if this guy is an infantile or a sneaky guy, he represents. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.